Hey, how's everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone who's celebrating Thanksgiving is having a happy Thanksgiving and everyone else having a fantastic day. I'm Maniacal. I'm joined by Tracy M here, and we have a sweet one for you today. It is the SMZ3 combo vanilla race between Solski and Azder. So Tracy, how are you?
I'm great. This is a great day. Get to see two great runners. Those two they're both Canadian, so not so much Thanksgiving for them. So they get their time. They get to do this race. We get to see SMZ3 combo vanilla. I don't get to see that a lot. A lot of you familiar with the randomizer, so this is going to be a little different.
Yeah, let's walk it way back. So, if anyone isn't familiar, it looks like kind of a Link to the Past right now, but it's totally not. It is Super Metroid plus A Link to the Past mashed up into one ROM. Both games are essentially the vanilla game, with one key exception in that you need to beat both of them, and there's 4 cross-game portals. Um, that's sort of the crux of it, and we're going to see those things come into play for really making efficient routing between the games. And then the traditional way that you'll see this is quote unquote traditional, the randomized version of it, which was developed by Total, as was this for what it's worth. But the randomized version, many people may know it. This is the vanilla one. So, Tracy, what changes?
Well, the biggest difference is in the randomizer, we have certain things that are changed based on from the regular games based on being able to complete the randomizer. So some of the doors are changed, the suits are changed, so the gravity suit doesn't protect against heat. The text is taken out of Link to the Past. All that's out. So gravity suit will protect against heat if they were to choose to get that first. The text is all in there, so we get to see all the text mashing that we don't have to see in A Link to the Past. And let me tell you, if you've played the randomizer in Link to the Past and you go back to the original game, there's a lot of text mashing that it's very easy to forget exists there.
Yeah, lots of A into L. I don't remember my text box counts. I only did a very limited amount of A Link to the Past NMG, and so it would be very disorienting for me. Um, I think there are very few people, Solski and Azder may be two of the only people who've been really running and pushing this vanilla category, but they've done a lot of work on optimizing the route and taking maximum advantage of those cross-game portals.
Yeah, I know Azure's been working on this really hard for the last couple of months. I believe Appley Duck may have tried one of these, and I think maybe a Real Cutie, although I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
very
something.
limited number of people.
So Azure was talking about this to me in DMs like way back when Fusta was putting together the crossover like the Link to the Past plus Super Metroid marathon event, and the crossover randomizer wasn't in it because it was focused on vanilla games, and I was like, man, I bet we could have gotten the vanilla ROM into that marathon. And he was like, that would have been awesome. And I think he had just started playing around with the vanilla one. He'd gotten it from Total right around that time. And so that's kind of the timeline for this.
Yeah, and originally when they first did this, it did have all the randomizer changes. So maybe a month or two ago, Solski asked Total to create one that didn't have the randomizer changes, and that's what we're going to see today.
Yeah, so like you said, item fanfares are on, text boxes are on, so whereas in the one with the randomizer patches, it kind of makes sense to just grab whatever you cross paths with in Super Metroid because there is no fanfare in just that text box. We have that full 6.5 second fanfare in this one, so we'll see some more skips maybe.
Yeah, and of course we'll also not see them talking to people as well. Not that you want to talk to people much in the randomizer anyway, but you're particularly going to want to avoid any unnecessary conversations in this one.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense run. There's some really cool stuff that we're going to come up to, especially around like the 30 to 50 minute mark. And so there's a lot of cool tech that goes into that mid-game routing that I'm really, really excited that these guys are going to get to showcase. I think they're really two of the trailblazers in terms of routing this out and being runners of this game. So it's something that I feel like I have almost enough experience to kind of understand, having experience with the vanilla speed game runs for each game, and then a lot of experience with the combo randomizer. But when I started thinking about how do you do the vanilla game, it was still a little disorienting for me. It looks like they're off, and as you see, they're starting in rain state.
Yeah, we are starting in Link to the Past. What basically has to happen is they do need to change their controls. At least Solski does. Asher actually doesn't change his controls. So they set it up by going ahead, doing that, going through the portal, and then save and quit to this spot so that they're starting at the same spot.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of file prep that goes into this. Solski's slow getting out of bed. What a guy. Now he's just getting synced up, and now they're both going to have to go do the escape. So this is the part where we talk about arm pumping, or wall pumping.
Yeah, I'll let
air
you
pumping,
explain
whatever pumping you want to... No, we're not talking about pumping. It's small movement optimizations. That's just a Link to the Past NMG meme. Greenham would really get on me about that one.
Yeah, and you notice that we are starting in having to do the entire escape sequence here. We're going to get our fighter sword and go through and rescue Zelda here, which is not something that happens in the regular randomized combo. Although it does happen in standard mode, of course, in Link to the Past, except that you're not guaranteed that sword. You get a weapon.
Yeah, so everything fully vanilla. Get your "is this even randomized" out. The answer is absolutely not. They're kind of mixed up, the games, but absolutely vanilla. So this is going to start off a lot like A Link to the Past NMG, where they're just going to have to go through the escape, rescue Zelda, go through to Sanctuary, which will give them a good chance to grab Sanctuary Heart, which is a nice safety. I think we will, for marathon reasons, see these guys taking a few extra safeties.
Yeah, and of course, the nice thing is it still is going to save everything when you go between portals, so that certainly helps. And we are using save and quit here. There is another way of doing it. We can do it without save and quit, but it was agreed ahead of time that they would.
Yeah, that is a difference from some of the more popular Link to the Past categories where save and quit generally isn't used. So, like the any percent NMG no save and quit board, I think is one of the bigger boards for A Link to the Past, and this will look a lot like that, but there's going to be the save and quits. And also, there's going to be some really interesting things that they're able to avoid doing by virtue of taking advantage of those cross-game portals.
Yeah,
and
one thing in particular. But we'll get to that when the time comes.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice 8/ guard from each of them. And they're going to get their lamp here in Zelda's Cell, as is customary.
Yeah, and for those of you that may be not as familiar with NMG, of course, if you play this casually, that lamp is going to be in that very first chest. But the game really wants you to have a lamp. So it'll keep trying to give you that lamp until you actually pick one up. And actually, if you don't have a lamp when you go try to go through the Dark Cross area, it's not going to let you. So I don't know. I've never tried it myself because I didn't know that was a thing until I started watching NMG. But I'm guessing Zelda basically says, no, we can't go through in the dark or something silly like that.
Yeah, I don't know. You're going to need that lamp to light the torches in Hera Basement anyway. So, you need that to get your Moon Pearl, basically. Yeah, so it's not like you can skip your fire source.
No, you do need a fire source, but it's kind of amazing the way the game just tries to force it on you in all these different chests.
Yeah, both runners really less than a screen apart here, so nice escapes from both so far. I know Solski doesn't actually have much NMG A Link to the Past experience. He's really just a randomizer player. And so it's interesting to see him getting used to the text boxes and things that NMG runners will be a lot more accustomed to, and so I do expect him to lose some of those frames to azder early on in the race. But when it diverges from those heavily practiced things, for him to be on very good footing.
Yeah, both very good at the randomizer. Azure also having more experience with Super Metroid in general. Solski coming over to Super Metroid having started with the combo.
Yeah, so do have to grab the key here in Dark Cross to get to the back of Escape. And then they will make their way through to Sanctuary. We'll see. Hopefully we see all the text box skips that we want to see. But yeah, this is going to be very different from your typical SMZ3 randomizer races, because we aren't going to see route divergence. In fact, the runners have talked pretty extensively with one another ahead of this race about how they're routing, so I don't think we're going to see that many divergences.
Yeah, there's one divergence that might come up. We'll get to it when they grab or don't grab a couple of particular items. And I don't know who's going to do which, so we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it's a small route divergence.
So there you saw Solski get an extra text box from Zelda that azder didn't, and that's exactly the NMG experience I was talking about. If you hold right through that door transition, you skip that text box, and Solski held down and got the extra text box from Zelda in that last escape room. So those little things are going to be things that azder has advantages from NMG running experience. But small things.
Yep. And now we're going to save and quit and head over to Eastern Palace.
Yep, Eastern, good primarily because it lets us get the boots. We do not actually need that green pendant. We're going to realize that eventually. But we need it because we need those boots. Those boots are critically important because they let us get one of our gloves in Desert. And we need both the gloves.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure. It looks like maybe there is a little bit of route divergence as you're going to Super Metroid, going to get his morph ball before going to Eastern, it looks like.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Well, he's throwing in some surprises for us. This is not what I was expecting, but, you know.
Yeah, it is fairly interchangeable. There's a save and quit post boots that we'll see from Solski probably.
Yep.
Whereas azder's going to get his morph now. It's a very modular thing because you aren't getting any Super Metroid items on the A Link to the Past side, and so the movement's going to be exactly the same. And the walk to Eastern off the cross-game portal is a little faster from where you transition between games than it is from the save and quit, so I like this choice from azder.
And he'll just go ahead and pick up these missiles.
It's weird. Blue Brinstar is a pendant dungeon.
Yeah.
If this audio is telling me anything.
Okay, so the question about transition locations, no, the portals are all in the exact same places. There's a portal in the map room from Criteria to one of the fortune teller shops in near Link's house. There is a portal from Death Mountain to Norfair. There's a portal from the Mire area to the energy recharge room in Lower Norfair near Screw Attack, and there's a portal in Meridia. What is normally a missile refill station that we never see in any category but Hundo map, that takes us to what is essentially the location of where the ice rod is, only in the Dark World. And we will be seeing all 4 of those portals.
Yeah, we'll be seeing the first of them coming up here as azder moves from the climb into the parlor. We're going to see him go out a door on the right-hand side here, and that's the first of these cross-game portals.
Yeah, that would normally take you to the Criteria map. So again, another location that you're not going to see in Super Metroid unless you're playing casually, or if you're playing that map, that Hundo map category.
Yeah, so it's going to look like azder is a little behind here, but that's just because he chose to go and get the morph ball a little early. So we're going to see the runners kind of even up as they save and quit to ship to go get their bombs at Bomb Torizo.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt it's faster for Azure to have waited to get those bombs after he does Eastern.
Yeah, Bomb Terizo will be a Bomb Terizo entry will be a good check for where the lead is between runners. Until then, they're going to be on similar but divergent paths. Some of the ordering in which you do things in this is entirely arbitrary because the games don't influence one another at all. We'll see what sort of Armos Knights fight Solski goes for here. I expect top right, but maybe we'll see something interesting. I think he's in good shape here.
Yeah, he is. You notice in that one Armos Knight where he took 2 shots instead of 3. If you do it fast enough, you can get that 3rd shot in before that last Armos Knight turns red, and you don't have to deal with you don't have to deal with the red Armos Knight, and B, once the Armos Knight turns red, it now takes 3 shots again, and so that saves a little bit of time. And I expect we'll see the same strat from Azure.
Yeah, there's other much more challenging and much crazier looking quick kills on Armos, but that's probably the best one that only loses maybe a couple frames. It's quite nice, and here Solski's getting those boots after. I need to rag on Solski for having 11 arrows here, using exactly 19 on the 18 arrow fight. a strong custom.
Yeah, and this is why we get the green pendant in the first place. We do need those boots.
And he's going to grab 100 rupees here, as well as some bombs. But mostly those 100 rupees, those are going to be useful for paying his way into pod, and also, well, he's going to need them to buy flippers at some point. But those ones are going to go straight to pod.
Yep. Okay, now Solski heading back to Super Metroid, and he will go get his Morph Ball.
Yeah, so this is what we were saying about just it being so interchangeable. They're going to be doing the exact same things that the other did. And it's pretty much zero sum. Like I said, azder probably saving a little bit of time on the slightly faster walk to Eastern.
And of course, Solski using the Moonfall. Azure does not use Moonfall, so a little bit of extra time saved for Solski there.
Yeah, Solski, learning Super Metroid after Moonfall was discovered made it an easy call.
And as you're saying in chat that he thought of a route optimization in the middle of Escape.
Yeah,
nice. Thanks for the warning.
No, I mean it makes sense.
Fair. It totally makes
like
sense.
the choice, and it seems relatively obvious, azder, that one. But like we said, this is a newer category. Even not too many people are running it, and it's very much something that is still being optimized. And so it's kind of cool to see a speedrun like this in its early stages for 2 such well-known games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's not much more optimization I think we can fit into what's already been done in either one of these games individually. But someone will prove me wrong, I'm sure.
Yeah, these games are crazy, but we're always finding new stuff in them. All the Ancilla stuff that's come up in A Link to the Past in the past few months has been kind of crazy. But yeah, azder now has his very important shoes, as Solski is getting ready to do his climb, and so this climb is basically what Solski's behind. There's going to be a door transition for each of them into Parlor, and they're both headed for Bomb Terizo at this point.
Okay, I would, at this point I would say Azur's a little bit closer to that Bomb Terizo fight. Solski having a little bit of trouble getting those climb wall jumps.
I know Solski was saying pre-race that he was just cleaning up his controller and maybe doing some maintenance, so maybe his D-pad's being a little wonky or something. But he's made it up.
Absolutely real. Okay, got our bombs, so maybe a 3-4 second difference.
Probably 10, 15,
Maybe 10. Okay.
but yeah, I mean it's a small lead.
Yeah, small lead at this point. As you're more experienced with the Bomb Chorizo fight, so I suspect you may gain a little more time there.
Yeah, nice clean BT fight from Azder, and we'll see how it goes for Solski. So, yeah, Solski not as practiced at this one, not as much Super Metroid NMG experience, does get a little bit of extra cutscene, but keeps his health perfect, and is going to get guaranteed those missile drops so that he'll have full ammo into Brinstar. Solski Prairie is telling me he was 99 out of 100 on Alcatraz. That was the 1 out of 100 right there. We got a rare event, so savor it.
We all miss Alcatraz once in a while.
Oh yeah, and gets it cleanly on the second try.
And Azur's going to have to farm up a missile here before he can go into the early supers room. Fortunately, these guys have very high drop rates of missiles.
Yeah, the Zilas, because he's at full health, are going to drop a missile. I think it's guaranteed. I've never seen them not drop them. Whereas Solski has full ammo, so he was able to just run through the pirates, make it look kind of like Hundo or Super Metroid 100%. Little strat differences based on category experience for these runners.
Yeah, and you'll notice that Azure missed the jump into the mock ball through the door transition, so he was able to just do a nice little short hop to make up for that. So also getting it first try through the door.
So this is going to look a lot like Super Metroid Any % Old Route. We're kind of headed down to Crate, except we are going to diverge and go grab some early power bombs up Red Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do some Upper Norfair cleanup before getting back over to A Link to the Past. So I see in chat folks feeling like they've seen this game before. I think this is the first time this game has been featured on the SNES Super Stars Marathon.
Oh, I don't think it existed last year, so yeah, it's got to be the first time. So unless you're watching these particular runners, and if you're not already following them, you absolutely should be. And, you know, like I said, a handful of other people who have tried it. You're not going to have seen this before.
Yeah, I have a feeling it was a reference to just seeing a lot of Super Metroid, which we have had a few Super Metroid runs so far this week.
Yeah, we sure have. Some good ones, too.
But this is absolutely the first combo rando that has been in this marathon, as far as I know, at
Combo,
least.
not rando. Yeah, combo, not rando, even.
Yeah, this is absolutely the first combo vanilla, but...
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I'm going to shout you out, because I know you and Reiku Rider are going to be doing the combo actual rando on Saturday afternoon, so looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, I'm excited. That should be fun. So if you want to see the combo randomizer, Reiku Rider and I are going to be racing it on normal mode Saturday afternoon. It's on the calendar. And I believe we have Solski and Ms. Metroid slated to commentate that one. But both runners having a nice red tower, getting up to their Alpha Power Bombs location.
Yeah, that'll be a fun pair to listen to as they describe the combo.
Yeah, I should be cognizant to not say too many mean things about Solski, because he's just going to get me back tenfold on Saturday.
Well, who says he won't do it anyway? I mean...
Oh, he's absolutely going to do it anyway, but he'll just like redouble his efforts at crap talking if I go too hard on it right now.
Yeah. So this is a little bit different though than your typical 80% run. So for one thing, we don't normally pick up those power bombs early. In an 80% run. In fact, if it's 80% new route, you just keep going up if you're going to get those power bombs and do new route. This is more like old route. Also, you'll notice that as you're open to the Meridia tube ahead of time, yeah,
Tried to open the
try.
radio
You
tube.
didn't quite get it, huh? Because the next time they come through it, they are going to have their gravity suit. Whereas in a normal old route run, you're not going to do it at that point.
Yeah, so you do want to blow that tube open. Looks a little bit like GT Classic from that standpoint. But unfortunately, azder hit the door transition just a little early. We'll see if Solski goes for that. Nope, Solski's not even going to stop and go for it. It's a small optimization that can be a little tricky to time out because you want to be running so that you maintain your momentum when the water physics kick in. But you also don't want to be running too early to hit the door transition, so I can see skipping that.
And as you're getting a nice quick kill, see if we can go 2 for 2 on that. Oh, Solski, a little bit low on energy.
Setting himself up for the health bomb here. Should be able to farm health here from the pirates.
Yeah, he's
not above 50.
No, he's going to get health bombed. So the way that works is once you get into health bomb range, which I believe is below 30, you need to get above 50 before the game is going to give you drops that aren't health. So he's going to go back and farm mini crate here, which he needs to, well, I mean, he doesn't need to, but you're not going to get a quick kill unless you have those supers. So no one wants to, definitely more important to get that quick kill.
Yeah, that's a good heads-up play by Solski, just eating the extra 2 door transitions to be sure he can go for a 4 super quick kill. We saw azder go for, I believe he went for a 2 missile quick kill. So a couple different strats we're going to see showcased here. Hopefully Solski's able to get this. Ooh, not using charge. Ambitious. Does not pay off. So Solski needs a missile from one of these claws, or just needs to pump some charge shots into crate for that extra 160 a pop on those charge shots. Makes it work.
Okay, we see simultaneous various suit and high jump boots picked up here.
Yeah, so like we said, this looks a lot like quote-unquote old route any percent for Super Metroid, where the runners are going to get their Varia, go down, get their high jump boots, and then head over for speed and wave. And then we're going to have a little bit of a change.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, we got suits and boots. That is absolutely true. And we're gonna see Solski here stop and grab the Kraid E-Tank as a safety. We did not see azder do that, so azder's gonna probably be running 3 or 4 tanks depending on Ridley tank. Solski was saying that he was planning on a 5 tank run.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like we said, Solski a little less experienced in the 80% category in general with Super Metroid. So him taking the extra safety makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. And especially for a marathon setting, I know Solski would do the 3 or 4 tank run if you were just doing PB attempts.
Yeah.
But it's not like that health isn't going to be useful. There's going to be some times where azder ends up low on health where Solski may not.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to have to watch and see if that Kraid tank comes into play. And just like boots were prioritized over in A Link to the Past, we've prioritized Speed Booster here in Super Metroid. azder picking that up, as Solski getting his high jump boots.
Yeah, 2 of the more important items in Super Metroid, having to go through without, and both of us have done this, having one or the only one or the other in a randomizer, or neither, it just makes for a slow experience.
Yeah, so there's There's been a lot of times that have gone badly for me in randomizers on account of not having movement items, and in vanilla games, they they play basically the same way. You can get used to them, but definitely worth the grab here.
Okay, gonna grab the wave beam. That'll be the last thing we need over here. And I always like to when I commentate SM any percent, I still feel like that's actually, people think of the early supers as the super important, no pun intended, sequence break. But I think that wave beam is so much more important because the game really intends you to go all over the map before you can get that wave beam, by going to Croc, getting your grapple beam, actually going up, getting your power bombs, going to Croc, getting your grapple beam, and then coming back to wave beam.
Yeah, that's tough. Spore Spawn's really slow without supers.
It is. But here we're just going to run right through, and we're not going to go to Croc. We're not going to see Croc today. Sorry, guys. Those of you Croc lovers.
Yeah, we don't need grappling beam in this category, so unfortunately we will not be seeing Crocomire today. But we're going to see azder do something that you don't normally see in any percent, which is go get Ice Beam before making a choice to cut out a whole bunch of slow stuff.
Yeah, and getting Ice Beam makes a lot of sense now, because we're going to get to Lower Norfair in a different way. In a typical any percent run, you're going to be over here on your way to Lower Norfair, but that's not quite going to be the case in this run.
Yeah, so we're going to see azder leave Ice here, and then he's going to go back down Business Center and leave through a door on the left, and that's going to put him back into A Link to the Past. So yeah, this is taking advantage of some cross-game portal action to do some fast travel in Super Metroid, and this is why they run old route boss order rather than new route. It's because you save this whole big travel up to wrecked ship segment from Super Metroid, so you don't actually lose that much time.
And that door would normally take you to the Norfair map station. I'm actually not sure what that cave is in Link to the Past.
That's the back of the Old Man Cave.
Ah, gotcha.
So we're going back. We're going back to Old Man, but you can actually, where Old Man ends up, the cave where you can save and quit to. Oh, that's the back door out of that cave.
Ah. Yep, we do need this mirror, so we're gonna grab it. So we gotta save the Old Man. Plus, it gives us that extra save quit spot for later.
Absolutely, and so here we're going to see a dip of a dungeon, but we're not going to complete it. That's going to be something we're going to see a couple times here in this run. And so we really need the Moon Pearl, but we actually don't really need Moldorm to be dead. And so we're going to see how that works out, but it's pretty slow to go kill Moldorm, so azder isn't going to do it. He's going to head to Hera, head for his Moon Pearl, and then he is going to nope back out of there. And Solski we're going to see do the same thing.
Yep, like any good combo, we do have to at least hit some of these pendant dungeons. But no, we're not going to complete all of them.
. Unfortunately, one of the things that we don't get to skip here is the tile room in Tower of Hera. So, is what it is. We're going to do it.
And like you said, we need that lamp for this.
Yeah, so this, if nothing else, necessitated grabbing the lamp.
And as you're not taking the traditional coffee break, just going to avoid the tiles.
Yeah, it has 2 hearts, so it does actually need to avoid the tiles.
He does need to avoid those tiles.
because of this being, all the items positions are known, you don't end up with as much extra health in this run, so it is going to kind of be a little low percent for the runners. Azder taking a Smoldorm bop there, losing a heart. Definitely wants to be careful here. Is able to get his big key before mirroring out. And a nice Beatles room strat there from Azder. Another NMG mainstay. We'll see if Solski knows that one or not. See what he chooses to do. Oh, Solski choosing to get bopped by cabbages.
That's no fun.
Not actually a good choice. Feels real bad. Those things are just RNG, and they will get you from time to time. And because your health is pretty important in this segment, can be really, really bad.
Yeah, and Azure getting the nice bomb jump over to get the Moon Pearl, so he gets to avoid all the falling down. Interesting that he went for the straight up bomb jump and not the one where you actually do a little bit of a dash. There's only I believe it's a 2-pixel location for that version. It's like 4 pixels if you do the dash with it. But you see he's saving and quitting back to the ship.
Yeah, it's 6 pixels if you do
pixels?
if you do the bonk. Yeah.
So a lot more leeway if you do the bonk than if you don't.
Yeah, not sure why, but is what it is. Solski picking up a piece of heart on his way into Hera. Don't think that was intentional based on the sword swipe that followed, but we'll see if he routes in 3 extra pieces of heart. He needs to be even more careful than Azder, though. Only 1 heart here. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be a tile to the back of the head. Luckily, we weren't through the tile room yet, so it is, unlike in the Super Metroid side, going to be able to benefit from the continue option from dying.
And we see Azure going into his Fantoon fight, which is a safer fight than you would have in an any percent new route, but a little less safe than 80% old. Well, I guess it depends on how many E-tanks you pick up. He does have various suit and 2 tanks. In new route, you would have 1 tank and no suits. Very, very tight fight. And it looks like he's going to set up for some X Factors here. Doesn't quite land them, though.
Yeah, X Factor is the name of the Wave Beam and plus Charge Beam special beam attack, which uses a power bomb, but generates a little bit of extra power with that resource. And so we'll see if he's able to land this last X Factor. He's setting up for 1 at the top, and nice X Factor. That's going to deal 1,200 damage to Fantoon, the equivalent of 12 of the normal missiles.
Yeah, the risky part, as we saw in the first missed X Factor of doing that, is that if you do miss, you can't shoot until those X Factors are off, until those particles are completely off the screen or hit something. And so he had to just avoid all the damage during that time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but the risk is still worth the reward of 1,200 fast damage. Solski is not using the bonk strat. Again, a little bit of NMG unfamiliarity, and is going to take a 2-floor fall here in Hera.
Oof.
Is going to need that... Nope. I was going to say he's going to need his bow here to hit that tile switch, or is going to have to mirror out.
Mm-hmm.
So like we said, there's only a 2-pixel window if you're not using a bonk to make that bomb jump successfully. So it can be a fairly tight strat. So hopefully Solski's able to get it this time around. As Azder is going for a left side attic here. We'll see if he's able to get this attic strat. So far, so good. This is a really hard room strat. Nice speed keep here, and oh, he doesn't quite get it, but still very, very nice.
Yeah, we'll leave him plenty of energy, especially given that he has Various Suit to get through into the bowling tree zone. There, or bowling, yeah, into bowling coming up right in a second.
There is a bowling chorizo in here, so you're
Yep.
not wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, Solski following directly to Wrecked Ship. Also going to be set up for his own Fantoon, and really this is all about getting Gravity Suit so that they can go to Meridia. And Meridia is going to deliver the goods, in addition to having a boss they have to kill.
Ooh.
Oh, a little goop spark here, but Solski has that extra E-tank, so should be good to go. There he goes, right across the ocean, first try. He's gonna blow right by his beloved spooky missiles. Nothing he can do about it. It's just not in the route. And I like this call. These guys will drop big health almost all the time. He is going to farm up a little bit extra health here ahead of the Fantoon fight. And go for the speedball entry to the Fantoon fight. Doesn't quite get it. Doesn't have a super. So is going to have to missile the Ghidorah, but is in good shape into the fight.
Okay, meanwhile, Azur's going to head down Red Tower and head over towards Meridia. And this is, I was talking earlier about one route diversions that the runners have been talking about. The question is, are they going to pick up Spazer or Plasma? Now, they already had opportunities to pick up Spazer, but if they really decide that's the way to go, probably, and in particular, Azure isn't going to pick it up the first time around, because that would just mean he'd have to menu to use those X factors. So if he's going to pick it up, he's going to pick it up now. If he doesn't, then we'll know he's going to go for Plasma. Plasma Beam taking about 2 minutes extra to get in Meridia, but the amount of time save it has for both the Ridley fights and the Mother Brain fight is worth it, potentially. And in fact, we haven't quite decided which of those choices is better. So it's definitely a debate. I know Azure was originally doing Spazer, Solski was originally doing Plasma. So let's see. And I did not see him go up to Spazer, so it looks like he's going to do the Plasma Beam instead.
Yeah, so it looks like Plasma is the call here. Not surprised by this. You were saying about not grabbing Spazer early. I think you would grab it anyway, because you have to menu off Ice Beam already.
Yeah,
so it doesn't actually save you a menu.
Matter. That's a really good point. Used to the 80% route where we don't pick up Ice Beam until the very end, until we're going down to Lower Norfair.
Yeah, so Solski is able to get what looked like an attempt at an air Doppler. I'm not sure if there were actually any air Doppler missiles in there, but Fantoon is dead, and that's the important part.
Absolutely.
And we may see Aqueduct here, but not from azder. So there's an extra super missile pack that's fairly quick to pick up that the runners could opt for there.
Yeah, I think
Azur's going to blow by it.
Yeah, I think Azure was picking up an extra super missile when he was going with Spazer. Going with Plasma means that he's going to have the firepower for Ridley that having the extra super missile doesn't matter as much for.
Very nice quick X Factor Batwoon from azder. Gets a not crappy pattern and converts it. And a nice mock ball into the Batwoon E-Tank. Probably my fifth favorite mock ball.
Let's face it, any mock ball is a good mock ball.
Any mock ball into a one-tile channel is an especially good mock ball.
Yes, absolutely. Gonna go for the full half ease. You gonna get it? Nice.
Yeah, nice full halfie there from azder. And he's headed into his Dragon fight. Not the number one reason he's in Meridia right now. Getting Dragon here is...
Well, it's important and it's necessary.
It's necessary. Yeah. But he's going to use a portal in a very fun way. Nice bomb spreads here. Just showing off the bomb spreads. But yeah, the number one reason to go to Meridia now is the Aga skip. So the bane of everyone's NMG runs in A Link to the Past. So we don't need to fight Aga 1 in this category.
No Aga 1, no worries about blue balls.
Oh, he was looking set up for a nice 3-spark there. Dragon was cooperating, he was ready to go, and then he gooped it. But gets through his Dragon fight at the cost of some ammo. And Solski's about to get his gravity suit. Azder going for spike suit or spark suit, not getting it. Is going to grab space jump here.
Yep. As always, my favorite item, which means I get to do this.
I wonder if you were actually early on the restream. I just don't know about the delay between the commentator stream and not. And Azder going for Womple jump and not quite getting it. Womple jump, because most people blue suit, is not something that most runners have a lot of practice with as a backup. And so it's always worth watching for it. And I'm seeing that your timing was impeccable, Tracy. Well done. Nice Womple jump there from Azder in the Cack Attack Alley. So yeah, he's headed for Plasma Beam, and then he's going to go back through Cack Attack Alley to go to A Link to the Past.
Solski, meanwhile, making his way down Red Tower.
All right, now we get to hear the lovely sounds of Meridia.
Solski taking the Sloaters refill. Shoutouts to Sloaters, who did a low percent ice earlier and an any percent run earlier this week.
Yeah, Sloaters has been killing it lately, doing quite a few nice runs on the SNES Super Stars slate. Azder with a nice plasma room.
And as you're about to get to, I think my favorite part of the run, but probably the scariest part of the run, and we'll get to that in a second because you'll see what he has to go through this to be able to use this portal most effectively.
Yeah, so where he's headed is he's headed to that, like you said, that Hundo map missile refill in Meridia, past the, I guess, their ohms is what they're called,
okay.
OUM. The only room they exist in, they're these little, like, or actually rather big snails. And there's a portal to the Dark World there, so he's not going to have to fight Aghanim to get to the Dark World.
Which is probably the most important skip that we have.
Yes. Unfortunately, it puts him in a place where he's not really able to do anything all that useful from his Dark World access, having a little trouble clipping through these boys. That one just rolled out of the way anyway. And here he is in the Dark World.
Yeah. Also noticing Solski did take that extra super missile pack. I'm going to do a little bit of refilling before he goes to his bot wound fight. Oh, and of course we're going to pick up Ice Beam here because we're right here.
Yes, Ice Beam Cave. That's what this one's
Ice Beam
called.
or Ice Rod. Sorry, Ice Beam is Super Metroid. We got that already.
Azder gets his Ice Beam and throws away his Dark World access. No, he's going to go right back to the Dark World. He just needs to grab that at some point, and this is a really nice spot to grab that.
Absolutely. And you'll notice he is in the Dark World. He does have to get into this water, and of course, he doesn't have his flippers yet. So we're gonna have to see some fake flippering here. And
Yep.
it's a really, really dangerous spot to be doing the fake flippering because we have these. I don't know what they're actually is. These little cupcake things that just dive bomb everything.
Yeah, so instead, he's going to use this new tech that he and Solski were made aware of by Chex Human. Shoutouts to Chex, and thanks to Chex for letting them know. I believe the first person I saw do this was Apathy Duck, but I don't know to whom to attribute the actual strat. But they're able to jump right to that ladder, and that fake flipper is actually a lot safer now.
Yeah, because if he'd gotten hit while he was in the fake flipper state, that's instant death. We don't want that. And what makes that even worse is he would have to go all the way back through Meridia just to get back to that location.
And Azure does have sufficient funds. I haven't seen him run into trouble with funds here, but he will also have enough money to temper his whatever it is that he gives the Smiths later. So he does have over 10 rupees, which is important. So rupee management not going to be a problem for our runners, or at least for Azure this run. Still will need rupees to go buy his flippers at some point, but didn't need them so far.
Fortunately, there are a few places that can route in those big 300 rupee pickups.
And Solski, meanwhile, is dropping into his Dragon fight. We'll see if Dragon behaves for him. His health and ammo are actually looking really nice. Did not choose to halfy save the health on his way in. And so he'll be able to be a little more cavalier with his sparks in this fight if he wants to. Yeah, like right there. Just, you know, showing off that he's got these extra health assets, taking some Dragon hits, gooping some sparks, sparking into walls. Doesn't matter. He's got 3 tanks. Safe run.
And lots and lots and lots of supers. Using them very well in this part of the fight.
Dragon being a bit of a jerk right now. He actually is going to need to be careful and start managing his health a little more judiciously in this fight. So one of the nice things about crossover is it does save when you game transition. Hopefully that is not what we're dealing with here, because he hasn't game transitioned in quite a while.
Ooh,
But he is down to 3, God. So Monka health.
Oh.
And he's through.
Wow.
He's gonna get his health bomb.
Oh my god.
And he's gonna be good on health. Shoutouts to the Crate tank.
Yeah.
And not
Solski.
Getting the halfy.
Solski, don't scare us like that. Oh my god.
Yeah, because that was like a run-ending, estimate-blowing death there, because he hasn't been in A Link to the Past for quite a while. So yeah, really glad to see Solski clutch that one out.
Yeah, that would have taken him back to the ship before Fantoon, since that's the last time he was in A Link to the Past. It was, oof.
Yeah, Azder, meanwhile, is feeling like a little bit of like a tickling in his ear or something, and is grabbing some extra hearts on his way down to another dangerous fight here in Helmasaur King, thinking, nah, I don't want to be in a bad health situation. This fight on Azder's side can also go very, very wrong.
Absolutely.
So this is probably the most clenching part of the run here, this Meridia into pod segment.
Yeah, between the amount of time you spend in Super Metroid and not having the save, between the fake flip, between the Dragon fight itself, if it goes wrong, between the fake flippering, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in this segment.
Yeah, so a difference between A Link to the Past NMG, chat pointing out that you want your sword beams coming into into Helmasaur King, but we see azder doing an unusual turtle room strat, and he has fighter swords, so he doesn't have the master sword for the hitbox elongation that you would normally take advantage of in this Helmasaur King. It's actually much more dangerous in this category than it would be in typical A Link to the Past runs. He is still going to use the sword. So in the purely randomizer-focused version of this that doesn't have the starting rain state, you'd actually be doing this swordless, which is actually terrifying.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, you don't get a sword at all until you get Tempered Sword in that version.
Yeah, using some pause buffering here to be sure he's safe. Good heads-up play. And is able to clutch out that Helmasaur King fight. Good fight from azder.
And we get our first crystal.
Solski, meanwhile, has his plasma beam, and we'll see which way he chooses to go. He's taking an interesting route back, but just in this room, he's going to go back through Kakatak Alley the same way, also head to Pod. Like we said, the runners should be pursuing the same route, unless azder comes up with other mid-run optimizations. But yeah, we've seen the runners haven't even been in Desert, and they went into Hera just to grab the Moon Pearl. But as it turns out, they don't need to pull Master Sword Pedestal because they don't need to go through Aghanim. And so there's no reason for them to actually get those pendants.
Yeah,
so we're going to see azder's going to have to get, and Solski as well, is going to have to get the glove out of Desert at some point, but they actually don't ever need to kill Moldorm or Landmolus in their respective Light World dungeons.
Yeah, the only reason why we have to kill Armos Knights is we need that green pendant to get those boots. Because we will need the boots to get the book to get into Desert, to get the gloves.
A nice hammer dash there from azder. Does have a sword at this point, so is able to do that hammer dash. So good awareness on his part. Some changes from how he was running this before. Used to run this part swordless. So but he is going to, sorry, Tracy, go ahead. Tell us what's up.
We're going to get a shovel here, and so we can dig up that flute. Going to be necessary. Although technically, I suppose it's technically not necessary. We could use Lower Norfair to get to the Mire area, but instead we're going to use the Mire area to get to Lower Norfair eventually. That flute going to save us a lot of time there.
Yeah, so nice question from chat about why they can't do Swamp here in the Thieves' Town. Is they don't have a glove yet. Swamp is slow, and they also don't have their flippers. So what they want to do is they need to go to Catfish at some point to get the Quake Medallion to open Turtle Rock, and they want to double that up with Zora's Domain because they're in the same part of the map. And so they'll need a glove to be able to get up to Catfish. And so that's why they route right by Swamp here.
Yeah, and remember, to get to Swamp, you have to be in the Dark World, mirror. I guess they could mirror from the Dark World, but they don't have their flippers, so they'd have to route in flippers a lot earlier, which also means routing in a lot more money. So it's probably not going to be very efficient to do anything like that.
So watch Solski's rupee count here. We see him in chat giving us a warning as well. Kiki doesn't like not getting paid.
Ooh.
So he is going to have to figure out what he wants to do here about rupees. He needs 13 more of them. The green rupee stun prize is vanilla. That's a line he can pursue, and that seems to be what he's going to choose to do.
That's a lot of killing there.
Yeah, chat with the "there's rupees in Eastern" comment. He could dip back into Eastern. Could be a way to go. Oh, and he's got Kiki. He's going to need to mirror to get rid of that Kiki. No, don't pay that monkey, dude.
Shout out to Japanese text having to make sure you hit the right buttons there without being able to see it.
Oh, you can see it. And Solski's very fluent in Japanese. I know. So it's like the tertiary language of Canada.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, Solski, just go grab the chest in the front of Eastern on the bridge, or the 5 rupee pots, or whatever it is.
And
Don't pay the monkey, dude. Oh no!
Oh God.
Solski, why?
Oh no.
Why are you doing this? Solski dumbs in chat.
Okay, he is going to go ahead and head back into Eastern and grab some rupees over here.
Yeah, I like this play. I didn't see who it was in chat suggested it, so I can't shout him out, but someone else was on this play a little earlier. And I think this is absolutely the right play here. Grabbing that hundo.
Okay, Azure, meanwhile, picking up his gloves in desert, gonna mirror right on out.
Yep, and as we said, does not need to kill Landmo because he doesn't need that pendant at any point.
And Solski with some not so kind words about Kiki in the chat.
I mean, to be fair, Kiki's not very kind.
No, he really isn't. There's no worse feeling in a randomizer when you head up there and would be like, oh wait, I don't have money for this. Granted, this is not randomizer, but yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what Solski does to the animals when he gets to his escape.
Oh, I know what he's gonna do there. No question there.
I don't think any amount of money could save the animals at this point.
Nope.
Sorry, Charity. It doesn't matter what your whim is, donors. Those animals are dying.
And so as you're about to go into his thieves' town, and we were talking about the older version of this, where you do this without a sword, having to do hammer blind with 6 hearts.
Yeah,
so it's a little bit better here.
Yeah, the old version of this category was insane. So if you haven't, follow Azder, and there's a highlight VOD from about a month ago on his highlights that shows the old run of this without the like double vanilla patch ROM. That just had a lot of the randomizer patches, so it doesn't start in rain state, and this is swordless, and it's pretty nuts. A really cool run. Also follow Solski and sub Solski for the Solski D emote. Very worthwhile. See if Azder gets God Pixel here. Nope, he dashed 1 frame too far, but makes it through Hellway anyway.
Yeah, and of course, these sound not going to be much faster in this version than the randomized version. Yeah, you get to skip some chests in the front, but that's about it.
So small routing divergence between Azder and Solski here. Solski is going to use the rupees here in the basement for his Zora money, and so isn't going to do the hammer yump. Is instead going to farm up a bunch of rupees down here, and is going to use this small key as well for entrance into the maze. And so this is going to set him up for Zora money, whereas we're going to see Azder stop and grab the Bombable Hut plus the Hype Cave Generous guy. And so I think we're going to see, or not the Bombable Hut, the Sea Hut. I think we're going to see Solski probably skip the Hype Cave 300.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So little route differences between the runners. I don't know if I would call them optimizations or not, just different choices that the runners are making.
Well, and to be fair, we don't know which is optimal yet. It's at some point as they keep pushing this category, we may be able to find out. which ways are better.
Yeah, this is such a new category, and there's so few people running it. So it's really cool to see something like this where we don't know the answer to all the questions. I was asking Solski pre-race why they get book to or they need book at some point, but why they use it to enter desert for the glove rather than like post-Death Mountain, post-Hera dip, jumping back down, going Lower Norfair Speedway to a lava dive to go backdoor and mirror in to get the glove. And he said, oh, absolutely, that's wrong. But like that wasn't something that was immediately obvious to me because there were some other benefits to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so far as you're following the blind script, and makes easy work of him.
Yep, nice blind, nice bow dash there from Solski. And the runners are racing the same ROM, same category. They just are at different points in the run, have made some slightly different choices, but they're doing the vanilla Super Metroid A Link to the Past crossover game, I guess, SMZ3. And so it's the hybrid ROM that is used for the combo randomizer, but all the items are in their vanilla positions, and it's also got some vanilla state preservation, like Rain State in A Link to the Past. But you do not have to do Serious Station, because nobody likes Serious Station.
Yeah, and you'll notice that as your head just picked up that crystal, normally in the randomized version, you don't have to sit through all that text.
Yeah, A Link to the Past text boxes are preserved, and there Azder's grabbing his 300 toward Flippers from the Sea House, and we'll also see him go to Hype Cave. So Solski...
First he's going to turn into Smith, though, so because we do want that tempered sword. You do need at least a Master Sword to kill Ganon, and since we skipped right over Aga, we're not getting that Master Sword, so we have to get this tempered sword.
Absolutely. And we see he is going to have a fighter sword to turn in. However, if you didn't have a fighter sword and you paid the Smiths 10 rupees, they would still give you a tempered sword. They're pretty cool like that. Solski has survived his Helmosaur King fight. But yeah, there was a question in chat about what the runners are playing on. Solski is playing on a Super NT, which is why it looks like an HDMI device. Whereas Azder, I believe, is on S-Video. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, Azure uses the SC2 SNES, so yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure what his capture format was. I think it's S-Video is what he's capturing.
Sure.
As opposed to composite or RGB or anything.
Okay, so it's the C-shaped house is going to be his other money, and now he's got enough for Zora. And so one difference, because we're doing a save and quit, we'll get to that later, but because we're doing the save and quit, we're going to do Skull Woods now. But you'll know in the NMG runs for Link to the Past, a lot of times they do ice, because before Swamp. First we're going to do Skull. I'm just getting a little bit ahead of myself.
Yeah, so I guess that's where he's going to round up his rupees. I've seen him use Hype Cave for it before, but looks like he was going to get them all over in the village area, I suppose.
Yeah, I wonder about that, because I would think it would make more sense for him to have gotten Hype Cave when he was running around from Pod. And since he didn't do it then, he may have just rerouted.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a better route. And he is going to use that bonk again for that 6-pixel window. And get his Fire Rod. Could have mirrored out, but you know, bonk, fall in the pit. It's all good. No,
It's
that's
just a
actually
heart.
that's actually a pretty bad fall there, because health is very important through the back of Skullwoods here. So we'll see if hopefully he's able to keep it together and keep his health in good standing.
Okay, Solski in his book, so he can go over to Desert to get his gloves as you're going to the back of Skullwoods. Yeah, it does choose to pick up an extra heart there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that call. Moth, while it should go okay, can always go very badly.
Yeah, yes, it
And
can.
so having a little bit of extra health, especially in a marathon setting, very worth it.
That was a very quick moth fight. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Moth well behaved there for azder. Hopefully Solski gets comparable RNG on Moth.
And there's that tech smashing again.
Yep, these crystal cutscenes. Like, it couldn't just be a cutscene. You had to mash it thanks to Link to the Past.
Yep. And it's every single time, every single crystal. They tell you the same story over and over again.
There's 2 more maidens. Go find them. It's in Japanese. I can't read it. Shucks. My Link to the Past speedrunning experience was fantastic. It has more plot than Super Metroid, though. But Super Metroid's a lot more terse with it and concise. It's just like Ridley Steele's baby. Tube is broken.
go
Go
rescue
find
babe.
baby.
Okay, now we're gonna head over to get that quake and to get those flippers.
Yeah, so he's set himself up with over 500 rupees. We're gonna get Quake, Mirror, get Flippers. And then, since he's already got Ice Rod, he's only gonna have to do, he's not gonna have to do anything between Swamp slash Ice Palace slash Mire, except for go grab Ether at some point. And so we're probably gonna see him do Swamp, Ether, then Ice Palace, Mire, so that he'll guarantee himself full hearts for Mire too, because he'll already have the hookshot post Swamp. So it won't affect the ability to stair climb Death Mountain.
Yep. And the fact that we can save and quit in this, that we're using save and quit in this category, makes it more optimal to just go ahead and do Swamp, because he'll save and quit after he gets those flippers. Whereas in a typical, if you were to not use save and quit, so like in a typical NMG run, you would want to take the water portal back over to ice before heading over to Swamp. It's just a little bit more efficient.
Oh, I see a smug face from Solski in chat, so we're gonna have to see what it is that he does here. I'm watching. I'm eyes. Ah, he wants the compass. He knows where the boss is. There it is.
Oh, that compass is important. You gotta, find that boss. Yeah, like I said, going ahead and saving and quitting back to Link's house, so he's able to go straight over to Swamp.
Yeah, so I kind of went through a long sequence about Swamp to Ice to Mire and grabbing Ether that was predicated on some NMG Link to the Past knowledge. But overall, what we're going to see is we're going to see him have to grab Ether at some point before going to Misery Mire so he can open the dungeon. And he wants full health in Misery Mire, so he'll have sword beams from his Tempered Sword for a room strat and a room that we just call Mire 2, which you can one cycle with use of sword beams. And so it's the sequencing of these rather interchangeable events is based on some influence from context of yeah, Solski Death Warp.
Ouch! Those crickets are no joke.
Yeah, so, some context from NMG. At least he got the floor bombed open, so
Yeah,
it
that's
kind of was
important.
a Death Warp. It could have been much worse for Solski.
Yeah, I believe those crickets do like 2 hearts of damage on green mail. So, yeah, like I said, they're no joke up there. And I saw a what is SMZ3 in chat. So yeah,
Oh boy.
so about a year and a half ago, we started with the Super Metroid: A Link to the Past. Or in other words, Zelda 3 combo randomizer. And this, of course, is the version, as you see, it says combo vanilla. So this is the version where everything is essentially, well, everything is in their vanilla locations, and a lot of the little differences, like we see text mashing and item fanfares in Super Metroid, and suits are gravity suit and berry suit are unchanged from the randomizer version. So. And as we've been saying many times, this is such a new category. So maybe by the time we get to this, if we see this again next year at SNES Super Stars, we'll see we'll have a little bit more optimization.
Yeah, Solski being pretty careful here. Is down to 1 heart, but there are some extra safety hearts here, and there's one more before he enters Blind's room. He almost got that chest, then he went back and got it. Thought about it, then decided he really wants to get his glove.
Yeah, that key is kind of important for that glove.
Yeah, you absolutely need that one, and so he's going to use it here to get his Titan's Mitt. And then go kill Blind. And he knows where Blind is because of the compass.
Important. Meanwhile, Azure doing the dreaded left side swamp so he can go get that big key to get his hook shot.
And Solski is going to farm up a little bit of extra health, try and farm some off the Stalfos, and also use the pot to get one. So far, he's on script for Blind. Hopefully, that holds up. Ooh, and down to 2 hearts. He's gonna have to dodge the heads, especially.
Oh.
Oh. So yeah, six heart Blind once it's off script can really be a rough fight.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the script is not the same when you have to go back and start it over again.
Yeah, but good news is that Blind will be lower in the room and maybe easier to hit. Unfortunately, the script is out the window, but he will be able to have a 5th heart into the fight here. And actually a very nice first 2 cycles there, but oh, taking a head hit, those are 2 hearts a pop. And it looked like it was almost good. Blind's just a jerk. We'll see Azder also grabbing some extra hearts on his way to Argus. Those are a good couple safeties. We saw Azder using the hook shot to grab the hearts. I think it's a 10% chance to get 2 hearts when you hook shot grab them. I have no idea why. But he was trying to get that bonus heart out of it. Unfortunately, he didn't get any bonus hearts, but that's okay.
And of course, having Tempered Sword for this fight makes it a lot easier.
And, okay, blind here for Solski. Dodging the heads. Doing pretty well so far. Has 4 hearts left for phase 3. 2 intense boss fights here. And nice. Solski and Azder both successful.
As we'll get simultaneous tech smashing.
Yeah, so unfortunately just crystal cutscenes. But yeah. Unfortunately, Solski has had a couple hardships this run, but like is absolutely killing it. So's Azder. Both runners very, very good. I see chat commenting on disparity, but like both these dudes are super good at this game.
They really are.
And crush me at it.
Oh, it crushed me more. Although I don't actually run NMG for Link to the Past, but I do the randomizer.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying getting to watch these guys play.
Oh, absolutely.
And is getting his rupees set up here. Also is now in good shape for his flipper buy. And is going to go get his sword tempered as well.
Meanwhile, as you're going to head into Ice, which is really nice. You know, in randomizer, it's probably my favorite go mode dungeon if you're going to go mode something.
Okay,
Swamp
so
being a close second.
Solski, by virtue of having taken a death in Thieves, has ended up in fake Dark World. He's going to have to retransition to real Dark World here because of that death.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even know that was a thing. So how exactly does that work?
Oh, you are asking the wrong person that question. I'm not going to pretend to know, but basically, when you die in a dungeon, sometimes you can put yourself in a fake Dark World state if you haven't done the things that the game expects you to have done to be there.
Gotcha.
And so it put him back in a fake Dark World that was actually the Light World, and so the frog wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And so really, really heads up play by Solski to know how to correct that to retransition. Is going to get his tempered sword. That was a unfortunate but cool thing that we got to see there. So we saw, I guess it was Fricker was running all dungeons earlier for A Link to the Past a couple days ago in this marathon, and ended up in a fake Dark World instance with Meyer, and like the crystal wouldn't drop because of it, and unfortunately, like it just locked him in a failure of a crystal cutscene. He ended up finishing the run, which was awesome, just off of like practice ROM. But like, it's really good awareness on the part of the runners to know that those things can happen, and really good to see that Solski had the cognizance about him to make the correction.
Meanwhile, we see Azure going through ice, and I missed it while he was doing it, but probably the most important bomb jump we see in Link to the Past, the Ice Palace bomb jump, that basically lets us skip most of Ice Palace, because otherwise we need to go all the way up onto the right side, get that big key, loop around. I just remember playing this as a kid the first time and just getting all sorts of lost and trying to figure out I just had to get through this dungeon.
Yeah, this dungeon is in NMG. If you don't know where you're going, super confusing. The intended route's actually really cool. You're supposed to like loop around it 3 times or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And then we just break the entire thing apart with a bomb jump.
Yep.
Which is actually really cool.
Yeah, both of those things are really cool. Oh, and a very nice cold stare from azder.
Yep, and Solski has his Skullwood's big key, and so is setting himself up to go get his fire rod, head to the back, and kill Moth. azder through what is a fairly dangerous fight, but not actually too bad relative to some of the things he's had to do already.
Well, it helps that he has Tempered Sword there.
Yeah. The run, when you come back into A Link to the Past pre-Smiths and post-Smiths, is like a giant bifurcation in difficulty in this run, as far as I can tell, because Tempered Sword is just so powerful.
Yep.
And it was even more severe when the game didn't start in rain state, and you actually, instead of having Fighter Sword, you were actually just swordless for a large part of the run. It was actually quite cool.
Also, a small difference, but not completely insignificant, is that hook shot in Ice Palace is really nice. And of course, if we weren't doing save and quit and you were doing Ice before Swamp, you wouldn't have that hook shot. Okay, now we're gonna go get that Ether Medallion.
Yeah, so he is going. He did do Ether after Ice, which surprises me because he really doesn't want to take a hit here, because he wants full health into Mire so that he'll have sword beams for Mire too. But nice hookshot stair climb there, and he's made it through and will be in good health sorts. And Solski is dropping on into his Moth fight. Moth, unfortunately, not taking damage from being hit into spikes, but still a very nice fight from Solski.
And of course, also another reason why we need that book, so we can get that Ether Medallion from the tablet.
Yeah, otherwise I think skipping book entirely if you never needed to go to the Ether tablet would have been reasonable,
Yeah.
but alas. And we'll see a vanilla frozen Chibi Ridley here.
I always like that with the Ether freezing that guy there.
And leaves it to just sit there. No NMG memes here. No fence dash. No bird toss. Fence dash the best meme because it actually saves time. Bird toss just wastes time.
Okay, so the only thing, so we need a couple things out of this. We're gonna need the big key. We're gonna get the K in Samaria. There's a lot of superfluous parts of Misery Miner. A lot of keys that open stuff up that we absolutely don't need.
Yeah, it looks like Solski is setting up a water walk. We'll see what he's going to use this water walk for. He checked on the stairway that he has a glitch state. He was dashing along a hole in Skullwoods to be sure. And so, I don't know what he's going to do with this, but he's got devices. I guess to go and do Zora's Domain this way, so a nice water walk off Skullwoods there from Solski. Little route divergence.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That would be interesting to find out whether that if that's a bit of a time save, and see as we optimize this category more and more, see if that might be a better way of going.
Yeah, the alternative is kind of slow, so I think that this actually saves a little bit of time. I think this is actually a little bit better of a route from Solski.
Yep, I think so.
Oh, looks like Aussie in the chat corroborates this. At least he thinks. I would defer to Aussie. I'm sure
I would
he
too.
has a better informed opinion of this than me.
And as you're going to get that all-important Cane of Samaria, and I believe that's the last item we're going to pick up. In A Link to the Past, it's other than keys and such.
Yeah, keys, heart containers,
Yeah.
post-boss kills, things like that.
Because I don't think either one of these guys is going to pick up that mirror shield in Turtle Rock. Or that red mail in GT.
Solski gets his flippers, gets his Quake medallion, and now he needs to do his sequence of Swamp, Ice, Ether, Mire as well. So he's a little bit behind right now. But given some of the hiccups that have come in with like Kiki being a scumbag and Blind being a jerk, this is, still a nice pace. Nice spooky action at a distance there from azder, using some Ancilla. Yeah, good setups by azder. Cool showcase of some other tech. I think that was discovered, mid 2018, early 2018? I feel like that was the big find from 2018 between these two games. Moonfall was 2017.
Yep.
And azder needs to watch his health here. Oh, that's... Yeah. He has a good handle on where the timer is on the lightning, but, like, this is spooky as well.
Okay, he got through the hardest part. Should be fine now. I will say this. He has been running the new low percent category that uses some of the new Ancilla stuff to delete heart containers. And so he's actually kind of used to doing this with 3 hearts and a Master Sword. So, having the Tempered Sword there helped him out a lot there.
Yeah, azder has a lot of experience in low percent and also in just general ROM hack running for Super Metroid and whatnot. So a lot of speedrunning experience. Solski mostly focuses on randomizers, but make sure to know all of his tech and be able to learn it fast on the back of kind of quickly evolving games, despite being 30 years old.
Okay, so now we're going to get to another cool part of the run where we're going to switch back over to Super Metroid. After... Okay, we're gonna go back to Super Metroid. I'm not sure what that mirror was about. Maybe a randomizer muscle memory. Both these guys, by the way, going to be in the big Link to the Past tournament that's coming up. And one difference that we're going to get here from an NMG route in Super Metroid is we're going to be able to pick up this screw attack because of this backdooring.
Yeah, which screw attack, super helpful. If it's not essential, but it just helps so much with Lower Norfair especially.
Yeah, like here, normally you would do a spark to get through this room, which is probably a little bit faster, I believe. But with the health that he has right now, it's probably smarter that he just uses the screw attack to get through it, because you don't have to worry about the Shine Spark health.
Yeah, Space Jump screw attack in Pillars is pretty much better than the Shine Spark here, especially from 101 health. Like, this is a pretty safe segment, but you see azder stopping there to see what sort of drop he got from that pirate. just in case, maybe pick up a big health, maybe a super. Lots of things would be welcome here.
And still a little bit
Solski
low on
getting his hook
energy.
shot.
Yeah, as you're still a little bit low on energy, but these ninja pirates usually have pretty good drops, and now he's at 229, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I think they have 8 drops apiece, and they have pretty high drop rates on both big health and super missiles. So, pretty good drop table for what you're looking for at this part of the game. As Solski is into the back of Swamp with his hook shot now, and so is going to be set up for his own Argus fight. Azder, 193, plenty of health for Ridley, but not a free fight by any definition. So hopefully Ridley behaves.
Yeah, this
Of
is where
course, gives a mid swoop.
Yeah, but of course, this is where the plasma beam's going to shine as opposed to the spazer, because there'll be 20 shots with this beam combination. Would have been 60 shots with the spazer instead of plasma, not counting ammo. Probably would have used more of that ammo if he was going with spazer.
Yeah, good
Ridley
clean fight there. Slow cutscene, kind of a bad grab, but a quick grab, so it all washes out.
And he's going to go ahead and pick up this E-Tank, because one of the contributions Solski had to the run is, at this point, the original routing that Azure had come up with would have taken him out of Lower Norfair through the escape and to the portal that takes you to Death Mountain from Norfair. Solski's idea was to instead, we're going to see Azure's going to go ahead and go backwards through the amphitheater. That's that big room with all the acid rising. And that 4th E-Tank makes it a lot safer. If you only had 3 E-Tanks, it's pretty iffy if he is going to be able to make it all the way through. And he's going to gate glitch back over to the Meyer portal.
Yeah, we see Solski showing off some of the zero cycle Argus strat, using a sort of a hook glitch to put himself in a glitch state to, or it's basically the same as a spin dash state or a hook dash state, but is able to use tempered pokes to kill the Argai very quickly. And as you said, you're attributing that optimization and routing here to Solski. Both he and Azder have been working pretty hard on this one, trying to get this route as efficient as possible.
And here we go.
Yeah, this is something you don't see in very many categories from Azder, and we're going to see this from Solski as well in a few minutes. And he makes it through cleanly, but that's why you grab that extra Ridley tank, just for safety. Post-Ridley fight, Azder did not have enough health to make that strat work. Otherwise, you'd have to go all the way back through Upper Norfair to Business Center to the portal, and that is much slower. So he does have 10 tries at this gate glitch coming up. It's what we call a green gate glitch.
And he gets it
it's a frame-perfect trick there, the way that he ultimately got it. The first strat that he used was a 2-frame window, which he missed. But nice second try gate glitch.
And you might be wondering, I mean, the other portal would take him right to Death Mountain, but he's got a flute, so, and he's got a save and quit that he can use to get straight to the mountain, so it makes a lot more sense to do it this way.
Absolutely. One of the greatest things about this is the modularity of the routing, because those portals autosave when you transition. And so if you're Super Metroid side off the save, a hard reset's going to take you to the ship. Or a hard reset anyway is going to take you to the ship from wherever you were. And so they're able to use that to get back to the ship very quickly and get right to Torian.
Yeah, and in fact, we are going to do Torian first. And there are quite a few reasons to do Torian first. You'll see in the combo randomizer a lot of you're more likely to see people do GT and Ganon before they do Torian. A lot of that is because you don't necessarily have all of the items to make Torian the most optimal you can make it. But given that this is all vanilla locations, we have everything we need. We have the full beam combo. We have the speed booster for the escape. We have the high jump boots for baby skip. All that stuff is available.
Yeah, it's very good to do Torian here first, and we'll see Solski do the exact same. Because of what you were saying, like normally you would do Ganon's Tower looking for that extra convenience item for Super Metroid, whether you're missing, space jump, high jump boots, plasma, charge, whatever it may be. There's potential to get something that will save you time in Torian, but in an abstract sense, or in an agnostic sense, I suppose, it's just quicker to do Torian first because you can take a gate between the games back from Parlor and you don't need to finish the escape sequence.
Yeah, and some of there's a few other places where there's a little less time taken up. So we'll see. Like the cutscene at the very end is a little bit faster to get to the point where you actually leave the room with Mother Brain, for instance.
Yeah, there's some interesting changes that had to be made to make it so that the game doesn't end when you
Yeah,
when you kill Mother Brain. And so,
and
shout
also,
outs to Total for all the
yeah.
work that he put into developing this.
Oh, it's a ton of work. But yeah, so for all you animal lovers, it does mean that you can't save the animals if you do Torian first. Oh, and Solski going for the hover, but doesn't quite get it. He's going to go back to the bomb jump.
Yeah, give it a try. Hovering is so rhythm dependent.
Hmm.
Like it can really be finicky. Some days you got it, some days you don't. So I like giving it one go and then
Yep.
just saying, yeah, screw it. We'll just do the bomb jump. Meanwhile, Azder's setting up for his baby skip. So we'll see what sort of baby skip strat he goes for. Nice
And
5
gets it.
jump skip.
Nicely done.
And Solski is about to drop into his cold stare fight. Only 6 hearts. So this is a dangerous fight he's about to start on. Hopefully it goes well. Azder's going to go for a speed Zeb skip. Oh, doesn't quite get the charge here. Is going to back it up with a more traditional spin jump Zeb skip. Has to turn off screw attack to avoid canceling his iframes. To get it, gets it quickly.
Yeah, I'm guessing that he went for the speed Zeb skip just to avoid that extra menu.
Absolutely. In fact, we recently saw Zost, good Super Metroid runner, come back to GT Classic and went as far as moving to a spring ball Zeb skip to avoid having to do the down back skip and just kill the first Zeb to avoid having to menu in Torian. And it was actually really cool to see spring ball, our beloved spring ball item from Super Metroid be that prominent in a speedrun.
Yep. And I think I've heard of that Zos guy. Yeah, he's pretty good at this game.
And Azder, with that plasma beam, very quick Mother Brain too, dodges a double catch-up and takes a knee to the face a couple times to be sure that he doesn't need any extra attacks, and it's going to be through Mother Brain 2.
Meanwhile, Solski finishing up ice, and he's going to head over to the mire area.
See what Solski does with the bird. I'm sure he's just going to leave it. Chibi Ridley can just freeze. He'll go kill the full size soon enough.
Okay, and of course, with only 4 energy tanks, we have no opportunity to stand-up glitch over on the Super Metroid side. So we're just gonna have to wait this one out.
Yeah, nothing you can do about this. Just a little cutscene in the game. It doesn't have enough tanks to do stand-up to even do anything during it. So it's actually a nice input break after, an hour and 40 minutes of a run. I see an from azder. I don't know what. I think we want to watch azder's side of the screen.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah, I think I see the because the timer shouldn't be there.
Yeah, this is interesting. The transition, like, it paused a little extra.
Yeah, that
But there's an escape timer going.
Yeah, that pause is not usually there in the combo if you kill Mother Brain first. It's only there if you kill Mother Brain second, and the timer is supposed to come up. And that's one of the things that we were talking about with one of these time saves. So...
Must escape immediately. We'll see what happens.
He's gonna, I guess he'll escape to Link to the Past, although God, I wish he had saved so we could see what would happen. So we could test later, see what would happen if we just went to the ship. Would it end the game? That's not what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, this is not what's supposed to happen. But, it's a bug or a feature. We're gonna see.
Oh, the door is gray. Oh no.
The door he wanted to take is gray right now.
That's a problem.
So we'll see what happens when he gets to the ship.
We're in uncharted territory here.
Oh boy.
Well, the first successful GT skip, right?
Yeah. Skipping Ganon. 142. What are roll credits? I don't know. So yeah, right now I'd say Solski has a little bit of a lead. And we'll see what happens.
Somebody adding total in chat. Nice.
Well, it's a good question. We aren't sure. There's a new version of the ROM. The operation was completed successfully. You see it right there.
With a 28-minute clear time. That's pretty darn good. And we see the credits rolling.
Okay. Yeah. Everything is good.
Okay, he's resetting.
So we're gonna get a reset.
Let's see if he can go back to Link to the Past.
Let's see what happens here.
Okay, he's able to start at the ship. The question is Ridley dead yet?
Well, we'll find out when we get to G4.
Well, he's gonna at least go finish up A Link to the Past first.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, the question in chat, what will happen when we complete Zelda 3? We don't know.
We thought we knew. It turns out we don't know.
But we're gonna find out. Okay, he's double checking to make sure that he's done all the crystals. Or done all the pendants, I guess, because this would be still Light World, so I'm not sure. Maybe he hit the map by accident, I don't know.
Well, it'll show what crystals he has.
Oh, right, yeah, of course. Yeah, he does still need to do...
on the menu.
And he does still need to do Turtle Rock, though, so we're first going to see that. Let's not head straight to GT. So that would have been a Turtle Rock skip, too.
Yeah, so the typical route here would be to take that portal from Torian on Escape and then go straight to Turtle Rock to GT. So this looks a lot like the the thing that we should be seeing right now.
Yeah.
Now, how that maps to what happened or didn't happen in Super Metroid, we'll have to see. But Solski gets his screw attack.
So, interesting question: is Solski going to reroute this on the fly and just do finish Zelda first instead of finishing Super Metroid first? I wonder.
I think it's worth testing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Solski's obviously in the chat. I think he probably has the audio up. I would be
That'd be my
interested in
guess.
seeing him do that, even though it is a little suboptimal. Just to see if it ends the game in the same way. Because if azder gets the credits to roll on killing Ganon, it's possible that because he got to the ship that the game saved that state.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not clear because he never went back to G4. So it would be good for testing and awareness purposes to see Solski finish Zelda first and just see how that goes down. But yeah, like we were saying, this is a newer category, a newer ROM, a newer run, and there's a lot of things that we don't know yet. And so, I mean, we kind of mentioned this earlier. Solski and azder are two of the people who've put the most work into this and have worked with Total to kind of refine what the ROM is going to be and what the route's going to be with one another. And these changes sometimes give us surprises.
Yeah, absolutely. As they did today.
Yeah, Tracy and I don't actually run this category. We mostly do the randomized version.
Pretty much. Yeah, and I don't run Zelda NMG at all. A little bit of Super Metroid, any %.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have experience doing it, but I wouldn't say that, you know, I'd say I'm probably as prepared as most other people would be, or more prepared than most other people would be to commentate this, but I still don't have any idea half of what's going on.
Exactly.
I had to solicit Solski pre-race and say, "Hey, man, give me a document that says what the route's going to be," because like I've checked the VODs, but they're all kind of outdated.
Yeah, and I've watched azder run this a lot, and I also have had long conversations with him about exactly what the routes were and stuff. And he even still surprised us with a few things. So.
Nice dash there from azder beating the anti-fairies. As Solski is into his Ridley fight, has good health and ammo, did stop and farm the Zebos a little bit, just to keep Ridley from being absolutely a jerk. But Ridley's still going to be a jerk.
Well, it's just who Ridley is. So for azder flying through Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see exactly what Turtle Rock room strats people decide to go for, because there's so many different options. I think Solski thought Ridley was dead there, curled up into a ball. And now he is dead. And Solski is also gonna, even with good health, grab that Ridley tank just to be sure he has enough for that reverse lava dive, or acid dive.
Oh, absolutely. As stated, it's doable without the 4th E-tank, but much tighter. No sense in taking that risk. When the E-tank is right there for you to take.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess Solski, Making us clench it out for that Dragon fight did skip that Botch Wound tank, and so is only going to have the 4 tanks, even though I said he was going to run 5 earlier.
Yeah, I just noticed that as well, so... And as you're into that Trinex fight, very nice start.
Good 1 cycle. We'll see if he gets a double hit off of the spin here.
Oh, very nice.
Yep, good Trinex there from azder, as Solski is into his escape, has already managed to lose 97 health. So it's good that he has that extra E-tank. This will be enough for him to make this this dive. Good start, good routing through the room here. And he is through safely.
Fine. And he'll have 15 shots at the green gate. Should be more than enough. And one last crystal cutscene for azder.
Yep, and now azder's going to get to do GT as was intended. Question about the handling of the credits for SMZ3. It's been the Star Fox theme for a while. For a while, it was the DKC2 end music, and that was my favorite. And then for a while, it was also something else I don't actually didn't recognize that one. But for probably the last year or so, it's been the Star Fox tune.
Yeah, funny story. I was at my local video game shop and I heard the music, and I thought, "Oh, SMZ3," and I looked over, and of course, it was Star Fox.
Every time, every time. Yeah, azder is into Ganon's Tower, already knows where that big key is going to be, so we're going to see basically an NMG style GT here, where he just goes left, plugs on through to Ice Armos, and gets his big key.
Sorry, chat, no big key guessing game today.
Doesn't even grab that key on the torch. Might get locked. Might get key locked.
I do still see a few guesses in chat. Oh, darn. Solski is going to go straight over to the G4 cutscene, so we're not going to get that test that we were hoping for, but certainly understandable.
Alas.
The same route.
Yeah, running the same route. Totally get it. We'll see if the ROM behaves consistently for Solski. So this is a hardware test on whether it behaves the same on console and Super NT.
Yep. Yeah, azder's the one playing on console. Solski's on Super NT. Yeah, so why isn't azder checking random room? He has the spoiler log to this. Doesn't need to.
Oh, spoiler races. And azder going for a traditional NMG Ice Armos.
And you know, when you get to the I guess the 11th big key of the game, does the game really have to tell you once again that this is a big key and it can unlock doors that small keys cannot?
I don't know, but nice Metroids 3 from Solski, by the way.
Very nice.
And grouped for safety in Metroids 4, obviously.
Okay, so far GT going very well for Azder. Good magic, good health, no need to stop off at the Josh Ferry's room to fill up at all. Shoutouts to Josh RTA. Meanwhile, Azder making his way through the GT gauntlet.
Yeah, Gauntlet's always a pain in the butt, but making pretty good work of it. Some bad Zazex patterns, but it's all good. Nice spin into Fire Rod hybrid kill there for Lamo 2. Very clean one cycle. Solski setting up for his Zeb skip and makes it cleanly.
At this point, Azder pretty low on magic, so he's gonna have to be.
Solski with just enough ammo.
Azder. The knowledge of that. So Azder had no magic there. Does pick up the pot there to get enough magic to finish this off. Very heads up play there.
Yeah,
And
there's
here.
I was gonna say full decanter here in this room, so he'll be in good shape for torches too.
Yep.
And Solski also taking a knee to the face, making sure that he'll get through the cutscene okay. And Solski saying in chat that the testing of the ROM had been done without save and quit. And they had recently, just a couple days ago, decided to use save and quit in the category.
You know what?
So
okay.
that might have been what changed the behavior of the code. So if we see it behave the same way for Solski here in just a minute, then that might be the driving factor.
And as you're about to get into his AGA 2 fight, unfortunately we can skip AGA 1, we cannot skip AGA 2.
No, this is AGA 1. There's just 3 of them.
Okay, there you go.
It's three AGA 1. At least decent teleports. Oh, that's kind of a rough spot, but Azder makes good play of a kind of rough pattern there. And Solski is on Mother Brain 3.
Okay, let's watch what's going to happen on
as opposed to like
here.
AGA 7 that we just saw on Azder's side. Oh, Solski says, we gooped. Let's go. So I assume that his timer is going to actually not spawn, and the game's not going to trip out for him. Yeah, Solski's is doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay, so now we have a real mystery on our hand.
Rip console players. So what Solski's got going on is what we're supposed to see. Oh, Azder taking a Ganon death.
We see the oops in chat.
Maybe a little distracted by what was going on or not going on Solski's side. As Solski takes a An extra low exploration of the Leodox room.
And unfortunately, Azure with full magic, if he wants, he can bonk the tree near the pyramid to get full health as well. And heck, he could buy the, if he really wanted to, he's got enough time for it. He could go stop and get the big bomb and go stop and get some silver arrows, but he's not going to do that.
Nah, I would not expect that.
No, that would be quite a shocking turn of events if he wouldn't do that. But he could do that if he wanted to.
He's got rupees for it. He could even get the gold sword. And Solski uses the cross-game portal, and the way that the route intended him to do heads to Turtle Rock. So what we're seeing on Solski's side is what Azder was planning on doing until he got the timer.
We're getting some nice double hits with the spins there.
Yeah, looks like he was setting up for a tempered 1-1. Unfortunately, those bats were a bit of a bad pattern there.
I was about to say doing really well, and then he got hit at least once there, down to 3 hearts, but through the worst part of the fight.
And we see Total in chat, so big ups to Total, saying that the whole vanilla combo thing's a bit of a hack, so he's not too surprised if it's buggy. Yeah, makes sense, but big thanks and props to Total for working so hard on developing this, and being why we've been having so much fun with this over the past year or so.
Yeah, both the combo randomizer and this version of it, the non-randomized version of it.
Yeah, I don't know if we have like an exclamation point developer cute thing in chat, so just like click Total's name and go follow him and show him some love. He's a good dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I expect Total to be like, I got 175 followers from that race. What the heck, guys?
That would be pretty darn awesome. All right, as you're finishing up Ganon, and let's see what happens. We really don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens as Azder crosses this bridge. Nice Ganon fight.
Looks like end credits to me.
Looks like end credits, yeah.
And we did do this.
Yeah, Gigi's in chat.
Gigi's absolutely, and we did run this out of SRO, so we could at least get a good clean start time with the 2 starting at the same time. So he does have an official SRL time of 2:02:46. In the very first combo race. Interesting they put in his combo randomizer, because there's no game for it to not be a randomizer in SRL at the moment.
Oh, it was random, all right. It was timer randomizer.
That's right.
But GG to Azder. Very nice run, dude.
Okay, meanwhile, we've got Solski in Turtle Rock. Get through that always dangerous chain chomp rooms with full hearts. Nicely done. And then he takes a hit from the anti-fairy.
Yeah, if you do the beginning of that room right and buffer right input off of the stair, you won't get hit by the anti-fairy. So he got hung up somewhere. I think he got some stair lag or something. Yeah, we'll see if Azder wants to come chat with us about how he felt about that timer popping up in Torian.
Yeah, that'd be pretty darn cool. We have a little bit of time with Solski finishing up here.
Yeah, so Solski skipping the vanilla big key, making a classic rando play.
Yeah, that might not work out for him so well.
No, he's only like 2% to get punished. Like, this play is a high percent play. Oh,
Except for
2%er.
yeah. Yep.
And yeah, realizes what happened.
And to answer the question, chat, no, actually, it's not being played in the U.S. It's actually being played in Canada. So. Okay, coming back. Gonna go get that big key.
Yeah, this is a good play by Solski here, making sure to grab the big. Yeah, as Solski's finishing up, like one last call, or maybe we'll do it again. But if you haven't, give the runners a follow. Both these guys are awesome. I race with them all the time at SMZ3 Rando. More often with Solski than against him, just because we do a lot of co-op together. But I can attest to how much of a jerk he is. And so, yeah, absolutely show him some love. Azder as well. Both these guys are absolutely top players at this game. Not just the vanilla version, but the randomizer.
Okay, we're gonna work on trying to get Azure into the Discord so we can get him to talk about this as we finish up. He has agreed to come in, but we just gotta wait on him getting an invite.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him in here. And I see some questions about what's coming up next here on SNES Super Stars as Solski finishes up. We've got coming up next, Sonic Man 2005's running Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon on Sailor Jupiter Normal. Then we got Wild Guns, Panel de Pon, and Aladdin coming up after that into Super Punch-Out. If y'all missed the Super Punch-Out blindfolded run the other night, check the VOD for that. That run was fantastic. A lot of fun. And so I'm sure the next one's going to be good too, as are all the other runs. And if you want more SMZ3, I'm going to be racing against Raikou Rider in SMZ3 in like 2 days' time, Saturday afternoon. So more SMZ3 coming up. We got Sunset Riders after Super Punch-Out. I'm looking for more Super Metroid or A Link to the Past. We got a Link to the Past randomizer multi-world from Schemax and Anthole at 8:30 a.m. Tomorrow. A Link to the Past rando at 6:30 p.m. Megawatt and Lin versus Sinek and Brewers Fan JP. Looks like a 2v2 multi-world.
Oh, that should be fun. Those multi-worlds.
That's going to be killer. Yeah, 6:30 p.m. prime time slots on Friday night for that one. That's going to be a big race. We got a 2:15 a.m. Saturday morning, Leno versus MST on ALTTPR. So a lot of ALTTP coming up. And then me and Raikou are the next Super Metroid flavored thing. SMZ3 combo, 2:20 p.m. Central Time, 3:20 Eastern. I'm Central Time, so spoiler alert. If I was saying times, they've all been Central.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm also Central Time, so I'm going to be in the same boat you are trying to look at that schedule.
And then Azder has another run coming up.
If you don't miss this one.
This is Eastern Time, 12:55 p.m. Low percent NMG, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on Sunday, the 1st of December.
And
kick your month off.
Yeah, absolutely, you have to watch that one. Watching him go through. And when we say low percent, I mean there was a low percent category that existed before, but you had to pick up all the boss heart containers. And yeah, the one of those discoveries with all the Ansel stuff is the ability to delete those heart containers, and he's going to delete all of them. And
yeah, sprite deletion, sprite overload, and sprite deletion is a thing, and so Welcome NMG, your new 3-heart overlords.
Yep.
For low percent. That is one of the harshest things that has come out of the Ancilla bugs and discoveries.
So note on the credits that I mean, wow, we had 0 time in ALTTP.
Nicely done. 2 hours in SM, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's gonna be happy with that 2 hours in SM, but that 0 in ALTTP, let's go.
That's a very solid time for azder. Only 67 items, and Solski rando muscle memory was taking him to Hope Room there, but he turned left at the last moment. Using some blue boom strats here. Oh. Yeah, I didn't really believe in that particular one, but this one looks good. Gets a second try. But yeah, basically, if you are tuned into anything other than speed gaming in the next few days, you better have a good excuse, because there is so many good runs in this SNES Super Stars marathon. I will be very disappointed if I don't see y'all chilling in chat. Solski also almost going to rando room.
Solski, I know you're listening. This is not randomizer.
Muscle memory is way too strong.
Muscle memory is a thing. And we do have azder joining us. How you doing? GG's.
GG.
GG. That was fun.
So the only thing to talk about, I think, how about that timer?
Oh, on the end screen?
Yeah.
No, I meant the post-mother brain
escape timer. The escape timer that we weren't expecting.
Yeah, okay, I wasn't expecting that either. I haven't done like a lot of playing on this ROM. Most of it was on the rando patched ROM that you can get through the site. The main problem with the one you can get on the site, though, is that it has the fighter sword and shield on Uncle, and it starts in open mode, right? But when you go and get that, it still reverts to the rain state, making some things undoable. So you have to actually skip the Uncle sword in the ROM with the rando patches. So when I was running with that, it was hammer, Helvesaur, and hammer blind on the same amount of parts. So when Solski asked Total to make this ROM that didn't have like any of the patches, it still had all the text and stuff. That got a lot more popular to run amongst other people because you got to have a sword, and the game kind of played properly.
Having a sword is kind of nice.
But yeah, so that's what we ended up using for this, and I hadn't played on it very much, and it's kind of the way the file system works is a bit rudimentary compared to how it works for the actual randomizer.
Yeah, so
I'm just going to interrupt you for a second.
Okay,
I'm just going to interrupt you for a second because we just saw Solski running out of arrows on the Armos Knights fight there, and having to use the fire rod and the sword to finish it up.
Yeah, which really heads up play. Actually, I wasn't going to comment on it, but he remembered to grab the top left chest behind Big Key so he would have arrows for Mimics 1 rather than have to wall clip them. Very, very heads up play. I don't know that I would have made that play.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah. So as far as the ROM goes, I'd only really watched one run of this, and that was your highlighted VOD, azder, the 146, that had all the rando patches in. And so I wasn't sure what to expect from this. But like watching you do all of that swordless was something. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, it was significantly more dangerous, and we didn't have. I back then I didn't know that you could just walk on the ice and then do the whatchamacallit?
The flipper
grab
thing.
Of the stairway or whatever, the ladder.
Whatever
flipper strat.
Whatever
fake flipper
was in play there. I wasn't aware of that when I did my runs prior to this ROM. So the fake flipper over to pod was actually a huge risk and a huge run killer then, because if you die, then you lose 3 minutes. You have to run through all of Meridia again. Yeah,
that's a really rough death to take. Which that's part of why in randomizer races I've like in co-op, I've tried to discourage Solski from making that particular play, but now I feel with that new piece of information tech that that I'll be a little bit more amenable to making that play.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's made running this quite a bit better too.
I believe it. I mean, thinking about the pod fake flipper in the route was like one of the things that kept me off of wanting to run the vanilla category months ago, and so that's absolutely a game changer. But as far as the overall run, were you happy with how things went down, or were there things that really, you know, other than that moth fight, which was obviously amazing,
That was pretty darn good.
things that you weren't wild about, or
I was pretty happy with most of it. Although towards the second half, I started being sloppy in terms of like not necessarily the play itself, but strat choices. Like I started going out of the way for some pots that I couldn't quite remember if I needed or not, and because I've been running a few different categories kind of at the same time, and so the strat choices weren't always like the best ones. But as far as the play, I think the play was good overall. Ganon, I haven't done tempered Ganon a lot lately, so I kind of messed that up, and it's really costly to do without the rando patches, because the rando patches are what's responsible for putting you back on the pyramid. In vanilla, it just sees you haven't beaten Aghanim and you're in the dark world, so it kicks you back to the light world.
All right, and Solski going for his Moldorm 2 hover. He's 2/3 of the way,
very
and
nice, very
hover
nice.
there. Nicely done.
So the very, very beginning, we saw a brand new route divergence. You want to talk about that for a second?
Oh yeah, so I kind of realized, like during escape, I realized that we're saving and quitting from Sanctuary to Link's house to get to Eastern. That's pretty standard for the save and quit route, and we did decide on using that just because I felt it showed off more of the. It showed off more of what the combo specific stuff could do, like save and quit back to the ship. And I realized, wait, it's actually like if you do the morph ball segment now, it's actually a bit better because the spawn point is closer to Eastern when you come out of the portal than you are from your house. So I was like, okay, I can just swap those two. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah, which I picked up on that and commented a little bit on that.
Yeah.
I did like that call quite a bit.
So did I.
Makes a lot of sense to do it that way. One of the things I didn't realize about this category until Tracy mentioned it, and I don't even know if she thought it was as salient as it was to me when she said it, was that you use each of the portals between the game and this route, which I think is just a beautiful thing that all 4 of them turn out to be useful.
Yeah, I feel like it's one factor that kind of says that the portal placement was a good job. I think the Dark World, the Ice Rod Cave Dark World one was my idea.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I was like kind of dubious about, because like the intention was that it was very out of the way in both games, and I liked it. And I also didn't really like the Lower Norfair one initially because of loss of the energy recharge and some of the escape strats that were available. But knowing that you can do the indoor speed high jump escape from that area, from the Screw Attack GT area, made me feel a lot better about that particular portal.
Yeah, I didn't know about the indoor jump from that door for a long time, but it's it actually like completely voids the need for Screw Attack in any situation there in randomizer.
Yeah, which I like it a lot. Actually, that's one that I wasn't aware of. I stole it from Zost. I saw him doing it, and was like, "Oh man, that's really good."
I'm pretty certain I saw one of you two doing it the first time I saw it. So yeah, it's a definite nice bit of tech there.
I think it all traces back to Zost, because I hadn't seen anyone do it in SMZ3 before I was running it, other than Zost. And so I think he's probably who we have to blame for it, but I'm sure he could tell us where the strat came from.
Yeah, I didn't get it from Zost, but I don't remember who I did get it from. It was another randomizer player, I think. It might have been in Andrew, actually.
Okay.
I could see Andrew having a hand in that. That would also make a lot of sense.
Okay, so we have twin Ganon deaths. Solski gonna head back in.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Solski is more. Solski has an excuse in the fact that I think he screwed up the Armos fight, so his fire bat patterns are out of whack.
yeah, he says odd bat patterns in chat. I'm
Yep.
not sure if he's referring to the previous ones or this bat. But we'll see how it goes. Nice poke dash strat here.
Yeah, if you
Oh.
die, I believe it's still different. I can't remember if you
Yeah.
die, if it's still different or not.
I think if you take the death, that it just changes. Yeah. Yeah. So the bat pattern you get, NMG runners will know, will be based on a few different things. One of the key things is how long you spend in the Ice Armos room. And so if you don't get the Ice Armos strat you're going for, there's other downstream implications of that. And the biggest one for most runners is the Ganon bat pattern, because you practice the NMG pattern as one specific bat pattern for like fast kills with tempered.
Sure.
And so when you don't get that, that's what leads to this sort of result.
Yeah, so we didn't realize this until maybe 3 years ago or so, but it started making sense why, like, you know, back in the day before practice hacks were a thing, a lot of times, you know, people would die to Ganon in races, or people would, like, while they were waiting for a race to start, maybe they'd boot up a save file in the vanilla game and go practice the Ganon fight just from that save, because it's convenient to do so. And they'd always get firebat patterns that you know, you would never get on pace. So it was actually kind of the opposite. I think people practicing in that way got used to the wrong firebat patterns and then would choke when they got the real thing. But now that we understand this mechanic and we have practice hack to take care of that, it's our understanding of it's a lot better now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's actually some cool history
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I didn't have context on, because I'm newer to both these games in that sense, as far as like the actively engaged speedrunning community.
Yeah, same here. Okay, so we're getting to that last phase of Ganon. So Solski can conserve some of his magic by using the lamp instead of the fire rod. Oh, gonna switch to the fire rod because it's faster.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, getting the torch glitch, he's not going to be throttle run magic. It's just a matter of trying to get that kill as efficiently as he can. It's going to need 12 spins just like Azder did. But so far, a clean fight. But where did you guys get the idea to run this as a race? Or like to you know, even submit the vanilla category? I think that's such a cool thing.
I had been working on it recently when submissions were thing on the rando patch ROM, so I submitted it myself. And then he submitted it, you know, after this one came out. So we had both submitted it. So Feasel just asked us if we wanted to do it as a race, and we were like, sure.
Yeah, and GG to Solski, who just finished up.
Yep, and his official SRL time at 2:23:54.
Nice. So yeah, right around estimate for this one, despite all of the hardships, all the weird technical hiccups and unfortunate deaths that this category brings. I feel like this category is Super Metroid without all of the running all over the map and crappiness on that end. And it's a Link to the Past, but like actually challenging. And so I like that about it.
Yeah, I think probably the my least favorite thing of it is the very long stretch of just A Link to the Past NMG route from when you do Thieves Town until Mire. It's a pretty long stretch of just no real differences, but I think the rest of it it changes it pretty good, and it changes it up to favor an old route style where you go down and you get your Norfair goodies because you can just use ALTTP fast travel to be able to get that in one trip. So you get the advantages of old route and you get the advantages of new route at the same time.
Yeah, like skipping that upper Norfair up to Wrecked Ship, but still being able to do the KPDR order is fantastic. And then like that whole segment surrounding Meridia to Pod to doing that like mid-game Dark World stuff before you have all the items is just like super, super cool. I love the uniqueness.
So I know something we were talking about last night was the plasma beam versus the spazer beam. How you had been routing in spazer instead of plasma. You want to talk about that a little bit and that change? Oh, and Solski joining us as well.
Yo, GG Solski.
GG Solski.
Thanks, guys. That was that was an adventure.
Well, I hope you had fun anyway.
Let's go
For
through
everyone.
the list. Let's
We
go through
all
the
had
list.
an adventure.
Died in Hera. Fell in Hera. Kiki robbed me.
3 times.
Yep. Died 3 times in Thieves. Once in the attic and twice at Blinds. And then twice at Ganon. The Ganon deaths, though, the bat patterns were really, really funky. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that 12 o'clock position at all. I'm not super comfortable with it, but that was my fault because, Fire Rod, Ice Armos. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that running out of arrows there was a little bit rough there, but heads up that you finished it off and knew what to do to finish that off.
Yeah, I forgot to pick up the arrow pot and I was like, I'm pretty tight. Like, I have to get the quick kill. And then I was like, a little bit of a timing off. I was like, whoops.
Yeah, so
it happens.
one thing that you did get was the lack of escape timer from Mother Brain.
Felt so good. Felt so good. Man, I was like just happy to get to Turing because that was like my best gameplay all race.
Yeah, nice Metroids 3, dude.
Was very
Your
nice.
Metroids 3 was better than any I've ever had.
I had a group on 4. Like, I have a really nice strat for 4, but I had a group just because I was so tight on ammo, and it was like picture perfect. So that's why I had to take that save. So I was pretty nervous that I would have the same thing happen that Azder had because I don't think we've really tested it with S&Q yet on this. So it was a lot of fun when I found out it worked. So
Yeah, we saw
save
you.
you
in
a bit of
chat.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was. We're pretty sure from what Total said, it's not S&Q's fault. It's my fault for not deleting the SM file.
oh, okay.
Ah,
That might be it.
Apparently, you have to delete both of them.
yeah. I see.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't
I
played
see.
around with Vanilla ROM, but that makes some
Oh,
sense,
gosh.
doesn't it?
Okay, so I just asked this question to Azure, and I think you may have had a hand in making this change, the rerouting and grabbing a plasma beam instead of spazer beam. You guys want to share a little bit about your thoughts on that process?
I always grab plasma because I'm bad, but I think Azder actually rerouted it a little bit with the S&Qs. So grabbing the plasma just makes sense as you're able to save supers for Green Gate glitch.
It didn't
So
really
I
have
really
to do
like
with
that
saving
strat.
play though. Like really, it was Cordy really actually sold me on this. Was I was not grabbing plasma. I was getting spazer instead for a long time because I was like, well, plasma's so out of the way. It's not close to a portal, so that's like the one thing from old route that you don't get is your advantage because plasma's not near a portal. But I didn't want to do reverse amphitheater and then the gate glitch on how few resources you had at that point. So I just went out through Upper Norfair in most of my runs. And the other people, when I started playing this on this ROM, people were doing reverse amphitheater, and Solski is telling me that it's way faster, and it is. And I just kind of was like, I'm not comfortable with it. I don't want to do it. But then I was thinking, Cordy was kind of telling me that Plasma, the 2 minutes you lose going to Plasma kind of evens out because you save 40 seconds on Mother Brain, you save like 40 seconds on Ridley or whatever ish, and you don't have to use your supers on Ridley, so you can save them for the Green Gate and not have that be a huge danger. And then also you don't have to get spacers. That's like 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, you know what? That kind of adds up to being where I should probably do it for the sake of doing the better route. So that's why I switched. And I wasn't totally comfortable with it. But Plasma does let you actually do a few extra strats in Lower Warfare, even if you already have Screw Attack. There's stuff like Plower House, the 2 rooms before Ridley.
Yeah.
Getting that door shot, you need Plasma for that because it cuts through the enemies, so like you can't really do that properly without it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So
sure does.
I feel like we've converged on Plasma being the route as it should be.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to have on that Ridley fight.
I think it's still close, but I think actually the Spacer route, if you wanted to do that, it's a lot harder. So even if it was a little bit faster, it's probably better to go with Plasma.
Yeah, if you do Spacer, you need to get your gate glitch on like whatever supers Ridley drops, basically,
Yeah,
for it
pretty
to be a
much.
time save, I think.
Yeah, and then the fights are a lot more difficult. So it's like you're probably more likely to lose the time that it would save if your fights don't go like completely well.
So I don't know. This race, 54 minutes and at 7-0. These credits, oh my god.
Get wrecked.
Yeah.
24
So,
items.
I mean, the end screen will portend that Solski God routed this one.
Just flex what I could. Wasn't much, but I flexed it.
But yeah, GG guys. This was
a ton of
a
fun.
really fun race. I really appreciate you asking Tracy and I
Yeah,
to commentate
absolutely. I
it.
enjoyed that so much.
Yeah, it was a really fun experience. I'm not much of a speedrunner. Like I do a lot of rando, but I don't really apply to speedrunning. But this might be the kick finally to kind of work on my game. So appreciate it,
man.
guys.
But yeah, GG's to Solski and azder. Thanks for coming in and chatting, guys, and thanks for showcasing the vanilla Super Metroid Zelda 3 combo ROM. This was a ride and a half, or maybe 2 rides.
Yeah, it was
and
definitely 2, maybe,
a lot of fun.
maybe even more. And we had some nice surprises, although I don't know if nice might not be the right word for that.
But yeah, I'll let Tracy close it out, but stay put, everyone, for some Sailor Moon coming up next, and there's some more A Link to the Past randomizers scattered throughout. Enjoy the SNES Super Stars marathon.
Yeah, and so absolutely, thank you to Maniacal for doing this commentary with me. Thank you to azder and Solski for having me. Really enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes. Maddie Walkerd, who set this part of the stuff up and made sure that these guys got invites so we could talk to them afterwards. And thank you to Total for even creating this monstrosity that we've all been, that the new version, and of course the combo randomizer we've all been enjoying for the last year and a half or so. So yeah, a lot of good things. And of course, we're coming up, the Sailor Moon coming up, and a whole lot of other stuff coming up the rest of the day and the rest of the weekend. And of course, for those of you in the US, have a very happy Thanksgiving.